Come.
Today, for the next tier list, we are doing the Valorant abilities tier list. I've been saying I'm gonna do this for a while. I did just take this guy's. He just didn't have the Vise ones. I added those in, and it's technically for annoyance. This is gonna be not off annoyance. Just keep that in mind. I'm actually rating them. How annoying they are may affect me a little bit, but in general, we're gonna be rating them based off like how good they are. So keep that in mind. If you want to do it yourself, you have to download the 4 Vise icons right here. Just go on the Valorant wiki, which is what I'm using. I'm using the fandom one. That is also what I'm using for all the stats. So when I check like smoke durations, things like that, I'm basing it off of that. Give me 1 sec. So we're basing it off skills, based off how good it is. I'm gonna try and be as fair as possible. It's also gonna be my opinion, so don't worry about it too much. But to start, we're gonna go in order by ABC order. So to start, we're going with Astra's abilities. So the first one is her Gravity Well, is what I believe it's called. It's her suck. If you just want the honest truth, it's just her suck. Let me put this on my second monitor. It's her suck ability. That's just what it is. I mean, it's pretty good. I'm gonna say it's A. I mean, Astra as an agent isn't the greatest. I mean, she's solid now, especially with giving her 5th star again, but like, it's good. It's probably one of her best abilities, just because of post plant and like stopping entry, things like that, so it's great. I'm gonna say her concuss though, her Nova Pulse is gonna be like C tier. Since the recharge rate on these is so long, the only time I see the concuss super good is if it's combined with her Gravity Well. It takes so long to charge up. It's very hard to like hit these. I mean, I can think of a few spots where you're almost guaranteed to hit it. Not even guaranteed, like you have a higher chance of hitting it, like on like Abyss, past Danger, if you're planting there. I mean, yeah, you could probably hit one there just because of how thin it is, but barring those spots, even like most entry points, you can run through it quick enough to where you don't get hit. So it's not bad, especially since it's a post-plant stun, but outside of post-plant, you don't see this too often. The Well is a lot better, in my opinion, at stopping pushes than the Gravity, or the Concuss. Just because the Well, like, has that 1 second startup, and you're not going to run through it fast enough. Or 1.25 is what it says. And then it lasts for 2 seconds. So it's like a 3-second suck almost, like over a 3-second like stop. Whereas the Concuss, it takes a little quicker of a wind up, but you can still easily get out of it. So just in general, And it's a 4-second concuss. It's a fine concuss. It's just hard to hit. So I don't think it's that good. Next up, we have her smoke. It's called Nebula. It is a 14-second smoke according to the wiki. All these numbers are according to the wiki. They could be off. It says 14.25 seconds. I'm gonna put her smokes in like probably A tier. I think most of the smokes are gonna go in A tier, barring like 1 or 2. Just because, you know, they're easy to do. And they're all kind of similar. I would say hers is A. They're good. They're easy to place. They're universal util, which is very rare right now. Even like Omens isn't technically universal. And you can place multiple down and basically set them off almost at the same time. So they're both really, so it's really good. It's basically, it's Omen almost, but with unlimited range, and you can do them at the same time. So, and they're longer, I think, than Omen. I could be wrong. They may be the same. But regardless, even if they're the same, it's just a better Omen smoke, basically. So, I'm gonna say Astra's smoke is A tier. Her wall. Put it in B. It's good. It's really good for, not only, like, if you're retaking for post, like, if you're trying to, like, defuse, if you're on defense, but it's also really good for, attack, just getting the plant down. Because it's just, especially now that you can't hear anything, like, because you used to be able to hear, like, if they were shooting it or if they're, like, near you, like, if you're, like, right next to the wall. Now you can't hear anything. That change made it so much better. It's an old change, but it still made it really good. I don't think it's It's also you have to be very coordinated to use it. Astra's a very coordination-heavy agent. So if you're just playing regular comp, it's not the greatest unless everyone's talking. If nobody's talking or listening to each other, Astra becomes like, I think I put her at like B or C tier on my tier list. I think I put her at B. She becomes like from a B to like a D because you can't coordinate very well with her, especially with her wall. So wall's good. It's a solid ult. There are definitely much better ones on this list, so we'll go through that later, but it's a good ult. Next up is Breach, and we have Breach's, I believe that's his flash. Yeah, it's his flash. All right, Breach's flash is, honestly, I'm gonna say S tier. I think Breach's flash is one of the best in the game. Just above and away. Breach is an insanely good agent. I think the reason why they almost never change him is because he's really good, but he's almost never played. At least in like Diamond Elo. I've seen him a little bit more recently, but I mean like in Diamond Ascendant Elo, you don't see him too often, but he's really fucking good. His whole kit is kind of crazy, and I think that's why they never change him. His flash is great. It goes off in half a second, according to the wiki. 2 seconds flash. So it's quite a long flash. It's just a good flash in general. And it's great for entries. So in general, just probably one of the best flashes in the game, in my opinion. His fault line? Yeah, fault line. It's a stun ability. It takes a second to go off and has a 3.5 second stun. I mean, it's better than I think her concuss. Yeah, I think B's fine. It's good. It's solid. You know, it's like her ult. It's good. It's useful. But if you have no info already, it's kind of just meh. But it's good for post plant. It's good. It's a good one. If you have like a second initiator for recon and util, like actually finding people, it's much better. But you kind of just have to know where people are for it to actually be like really, really good. Or you just have to start stunning like the normal areas and pray that someone is there when you swing. But it's good. Aftershock. This thing got kind of a buff, not recently, but when they made it only do 2 pulses. It's pretty good. I would say it's solid. Hey Shocks, shut up. It's good. It's very good. I like his Aftershock. I think Breach's kit is probably one of the best in the game for initiators. It just doesn't have a lot of recon, and that's the only downside. But his Aftershock is insanely good. Great for post plant, great for clearing corners, kills really fast. So if you get them stuck in deep in a corner, you're almost guaranteed to hit like maybe 1, and then sometimes we'll hit both if they're stunned at all. So it's really, really good. His ult. I mean, I think his ult's A tier. I do. It's a 6-second concuss, knocks them back, which I mean like is fine. But I mean, it's mainly the concuss, and it only takes like 1 second to go off, 1.2 seconds according to the wiki. A 6-second concuss that's like such a wide radius. It's a really good ult. I'm tempted to put it in S tier. I'm gonna keep it in A. We may change it later, but for now we're gonna keep it in A. But it's definitely a really good utility. Do we put it in S? We'll keep it at A. I think it's really good. Next up, Stim Beacon. As much as I love Stim Beacon, it's kind of dog shit. It's kind of dog shit. I'm gonna be 100% honest. The only reason why I use Stim Beacon is because I want the fucking assists. That's it. It's not good. It makes you run a little quicker, I believe, and you shoot faster. I mean, that's good, but it's just, yeah, it's just eh. I just don't think it's that good. I don't like it. I don't think it's that good at all. I remember when it used to be busted to shit. I don't think it was ever really busted, but it's I don't like it. I don't think it's that good. I'd be willing to say maybe D tier, but there's a reason why it's almost never used, because it's not the greatest. You just throw, if you're Brim, you just throw it every round at the beginning and you just pray, but it doesn't really have a lot of impact. You'll get a lot of assists, but I would argue like probably 8 out of those 10 kills, for every 10 kills, 8 of the 10 you would have still gotten without the stim. So I don't think it's fantastic. Brim's Molly is S tier. Brim's Molly is probably the best in the game. I think it is so fucking good. The only Molly that's better than Brim's is Phoenix's, but Brim's has such, like, you can have lineups from literally anywhere. It lasts forever. It does 1,000,000 fucking damage. Brim's Molly is the best. There was a better Molly at one point, but when they nerfed her to high hell, which we'll get to at the end of the tier list. But now Brim's is just so good, especially if you know lineups. I refuse to learn lineups on anybody, but his Molly is fucking just unstoppable. It is so good. Like, it lasts 7 seconds. Okay, it's a lot of fucking time for a Molly, so it's really good. Brim's Smoke, it's the longest lasting smoke in a game. This says 19 seconds. I thought it was shorter. I think this wiki might be off a little bit, but Brim's is the longest. I know that. It's still gonna be C tier. Because he's the only smoke in the game that you can actually burn the smokes out. All you have to do is, like, fake a site, and if Brim smokes it, you basically have the other site with no smokes to fight. So, it just, yeah, it lasts, like, 5 seconds longer, maybe 4 seconds longer, but it's just not... I don't think the time increase is that big of a deal. It also blocks vision if you're in that smoke, and... I kind of wish they didn't make it affect enemies. Our teammates, sorry. Jesus, what the... Yeah, I wanted to affect enemies. It shouldn't affect teammates. I think, or at least it shouldn't affect Brim. It should be one or the other. I think it shouldn't either affect Brim or shouldn't affect teammates as much. It should be, like, maybe even less potent. Because I hate when, I'm playing Brimstone. If it's, like, a save, you can't do the Brimstone in smoke strat. Like, you can with, like, Omen, Astra, and all the others. I mean, you can, but it's just annoying. So it's not the greatest smoke. It's definitely probably the worst right now in the game. But I mean, like, it's not bad. It's just out of all the smokes, it's probably the worst. All right, Brim's ultimate. We'll put it in B. It's good. It's good. It needs a lot of setup. Like, if you're gonna use it, it's either for specific locations on specific maps or you need setup. Like Brim on Bind, right? Like if you're rushing a site, you can just ult Hookah or U-Haul. Jesus, you can just ult U-Haul, and you're basically either getting them to completely leave it or you get a free kill. Sometimes it's a free kill because they'll be in like the worst spot and they'll just like run out in front of the short and you just shoot them, or they'll try to run out the back and they'll die. So that, like, for specific instances, it's good. And B tier is a solid tier, by the way. B tier is not bad. Let's make that clear. But not the greatest. There are much better ults out there. Good for post plant though, but that's about it. Chamber TP. Love this thing now. The increased range made it really good. It used to be busted to shit a long time ago, but now it's good. It's a good, you know, free ability. It's probably one of the best free abilities, to be fair. It's good. I mean, I can't describe it anything else. Like, you get a free fight. It's honestly, it's probably equal to Jet Dash when it comes to getting free fights. Obviously, it's a little annoying when you TP and you still die, but it's good. It's a very, very good util. For all the get out of jail free cards, it's one of the better ones. So, kind of have to put in A tier. Chamber Trip. It's the alarm bot if the alarm bot was like shit. Yeah, there's gonna be a sentinel thing that's worse than it. So yeah, C tier. There's gonna be something worse, but it's not very good. If you're thinking about like what role this fills, which is usually flank if you're on attack, or like entry points, out of all the sentinel utility that you could put for that, there's 4, 5 right now technically. This is probably the second worst. It's not good. You have 1, it has limited range, and it takes a while to lock on, and smoking it off is really easy. So, like, especially if you're Omen, if you're lurking and you hear it, you just smoke that side and you literally can get out every time, and it won't go off. So it's not the greatest. It's just not that good, personally. I don't like it. It's good enough for like what you need it for, but like there are so much better pieces of utility. Like if that's your concern is flank, there's so many better sentinels for that. So it's not the greatest. His pistol S, it's super good. I suck ass with it. Let me make that clear. I'm dog shit with it. It's really fucking good. Like if you play chamber, you literally, I think the best kit is buying either light armor and 4 bullets or the slow, and then I think 5, or is it 6? You might get 6. It's 100, so how much is the slow again? 200? Yeah, so you get 6. So, yeah, so you get six of these in the slow or light armor and 4 of these. And I mean, 6 bullets, if you're actually good at the fucking game, unlike me, that's 5 kills. 6 if you want to, you know, if there's a clove. So it's really fucking good. It's insanely good. It's a sheriff pretty much every round. You can get a couple sheriff shots in if you have good aim. You're basically gonna get 3 kills. It's super good. Chamber op. I've been having some bad luck on Valorant recently, so I'm trying my best not to. I'm gonna say this is probably an A-tier ult. It's really, really good. I'm trying to think of what ults are a bit better. I can think of a couple. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I think it's A-tier. It's super good. It's a free gun. I mean, actually, fuck it. Just put it S-tier. It's a free gun. So it's great for eco rounds. It's great if your team's forcing and you can't afford a gun. It's insane. It's an insane ult. It's a free op. I think it's good enough to where you don't need to change it right now. I don't think it's like broken in the sense like you can't fucking like they should nerf it. I don't think it's that like busted, but I think it's in a really good spot. And I think it's probably one of the best ults in the game still, without being so busted you hate facing it. If you have any good initiators, you don't have to worry about it too much. So chamber up, S tier, probably one of the best ults in the game. Clove now. Cloves, it's their heal, sorry. Pick me up? Yeah, pick me up. You get 15% speed boost and you get 100 overheal. But you can't go past 150. Just keep that in mind. So if you're at 100 health and you get a kill, you get 50. You don't get 100. So you don't get 200 health. That'd be insane. It's really good. Really fucking good. I mean, yeah, you need a kill, but I mean, you don't even need a kill. You just need an assist. It's insanely powerful. I think it's definitely A tier worthy. Get a fight in because it's 100 and not 50. It's a one-time old Reyna heal, right? Yeah, it's a one-time Reyna heal, old Reyna heal. So you can have 150 health, you know, 100 with heavy armor. You get a fight in, you take 120 damage, you heal 100 of that over. Like it's good. It's very good. Especially for a controller, like how aggressive you can be, it's insane. Clove smokes. I think it's one of her, or their, it's one of the lower ones. Yeah, 13.5 this says. Yeah, their smoke is, it's better than Brim smoke. I'm trying to think if it's better than Astra smoke. I think realistically, it actually probably is A tier. I'm trying to think of all the smokes. I actually might put Cloves closer to S tier. Who else is left? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I have to put an S tier right now for comp purposes. I think it's S tier. I'm trying to think of the other smokes. Yeah, I think S is a good place for it because it regens fast. I think it regens faster than, it may be the same as Astra, but it regens fairly quick. You can place 2 at the same time like Brimstone, so you get the bonus, you get the positives of Brimstone smokes, which is like multiple placements at once. You get regen of like Astra and Omen smokes. And you can use them while you're dead. So I think I kind of have to put them in S. They're really good, and they last enough. So I like Clove smokes a lot. Next up, we have metal. It is their, like, decay ability. It's very finicky. I don't think it's bad, but I don't love it. I'm putting in C, because it's like, if I remember correctly, how metal works is when you throw it, it goes out on the level that you throw it on. So if there's a staircase that is like let's say this is the flat ground. If there's a staircase right here and you throw it on the flat ground, like it's a staircase, right? So you can run up it with no problems. The metal will not hit them if they're standing on the staircase with that tiny change because of the way metal works. And so if you are fighting anybody on any single like elevation difference, it's just not good. It just sucks because if you hit it slightly low, you're gonna miss because of the stupid way it works. I kind of wish it was more of like a radius thing. I'm fine if it doesn't go through walls, but I kind of wish it was more of a radius thing and was a little bit better about that. But right now I hate it. I think it's really bad. And since it's a timed thing and not like when it hits the ground thing, you can't throw it far. I mean, it's a good distance, but like if you're trying to if you need to throw it a good distance, like to help your team, if you're trying to throw it farther, it won't make it. So it has a range unlike Molly's, and if there's an elevation difference, Jesus, it's just, you're gonna miss. So I don't love it very much. I don't think it's the greatest ability. Just fix it a little bit. Like if they're on a staircase, it's like 2 steps up, and I throw it and it lands like a step or 2 below them, it should still hit the person, okay? Let's be honest. All right, last up, Clove's ult. I'm putting in B. The reason why I'm putting in B is because I think it's very good, but it's also very dependent on the user. I think if you're good at the game, obviously it's great. The fact that you get it, even if you use it and then die and don't get a kill, you still get 1 ult point back, I believe. I believe if someone kills you. I think if you die from time, I don't think you do. But if you die from time, like if you die from getting shot after you pop the ult, you get your 1 out of 8. So it's basically a 7 cost ult, because you're 95% of the time, besides the beginning of each half, you're gonna have at least 1. So it's almost a 7 cost ult, to be honest, instead of 8. But I've seen so many Cloves fuck up the ult, I can't put it higher than B. Like, I fucked up the ult like a million times. Because I pop it and then realize there's a second person behind the wall that I didn't know, and I'm like, oh, fuck, and then I just die in the middle of the open. Yeah, no, it's not the greatest. I shouldn't say not the greatest. It's good. It's good, you just have to be consistent. You have to be good at it. You know, you have to be good at the game, which I am not. But it's a good ult. Next up, xycba. The homie, the man, the myth, the legend, xycba. Cypher's good. Cypher's util is pretty solid. I believe the first one is his cage, correct. Correct. Yeah. I like his cage. His cage is just kind of a better jet smoke, but it also tells you if someone hits it. And you can trigger it whenever you want, and it's not destroyable. Like, it's a better jet smoke. Obviously, Cypher does not have the dash ability, but still a pretty damn good... You can use it for... It's good. It's a very good cage. It's very good, like, smoke, I guess we can call it a smoke. I don't know what you'd call it other than a smoke, like, you know. But it's good. It's a good piece of utility. You can tell when people are in it, when they touch the walls. When you combo it, obviously, with the next piece of utility, his tripwire, it's also really good. Trip... Not putting an S. After the nerf, I don't think it's S. I would say... I'm gonna say B. I'm gonna say the tripwire is B. I know a lot of people are gonna be angry probably at that. I'm sorry, there is too much utility that breaks it. I'm not saying they should change that, because if they're gonna have unbreakable trips, you need utility to break this stuff, but there are so many things that break it now. And you're almost always, especially if you're on like a Cypher specific map, you're almost always facing a Raze, a Sova, a KO. You're facing something. So it's just, unless you're like sitting there waiting to hear them pull out their arrow and then pick it up and then put it back and then pick it up, it's just not the greatest. Now, some people may hate these because their teammates don't know how to shoot them. That's a valid reason to hate them. But that doesn't make the ability good, that makes your teammates shit. Keep that in mind. There's a big difference. Doesn't make the ability good, makes them shit. But it's still good. It's still a good trip. Tripwires are still great. But especially now that it doesn't show them highlighted for half a second, it definitely makes it a little bit harder to get kills off them. Not much harder, but a little bit harder. But it's still good. I think it's in a great spot right now. I don't think they should change them. Cypher has been strong already for quite a while. I think it's a good area to keep the trip at. Next up, xycba A tier. Cyphercam's good too. Cyphercam's a really solid piece of utility. I mean, it's good if you want if you want like kind of like a flash almost. A lot of people turn to shoot Cyphercams. So you can kind of just throw it on a wall and then just insta-swing right after, and they'll be looking at the wall for half a second. Maybe get a kill off it. The actual, like, utility itself is great. Especially if you are a Cypher main and you know all these hidden cam spots where no one can find them. It becomes the most pesky-ass thing ever, and it gives you unlimited info. It is an unlimited info piece of utility. So it is really, really good right now. You have to be good at it though. Like, I mean, if you want to actually ping people, you have to actually be decent. But it's a great piece of utility. Like, you can basically come where everyone is on site pretty much every time. So it's great. It's a great piece of utility. Must have. Cypher ult S tier. Cypher ult is insane. Even with the increase to 7 points, Cypher ult is just you farm this shit. I'm telling you, if you just farm Cypher ult, you will do so good. Just farm it. Just farm it orbs. Cyphers and then geckos are like the two that I think you should basically farm if you have either. If you have both, I would say gecko, but if you don't have a gecko and you have Cypher on your team, I would just farm Cypher ult or Phoenix ult, I guess. There's a couple ults you would want to farm. Cyphers is the one. Like, if you farm Cypher ult and he's the one planting, because most Cyphers are the ones that are planting if you don't have gecko, you get your ult even before when it was 6 points, I'd literally have my ult every other round. I would grab orb, I would get maybe a kill or two, and I'd plant. And I'd get my ult almost every other round, and I would constantly just pop it. And you'd basically, every time you'd pop ult on either, you know, if you're on attack, post-plant situation, if it's like a 3v3, you pop ult, you're almost guaranteed the win. Like, you know where they are. It stalls time, you know where they are. They usually won't have time to reposition to a great spot. And if they do, you'll know they are. And you basically get the free win. So it is an insanely good ult, even with the 7-point upgrade, which they had to do. I think they had to up it to 7, because it being at 6 was insane. I still think it's probably one of the most, not unfair, but one of the best ults in the game right now. It's, even with the 7-point increase, it's insane. I fucking love it. Next up, you have Deadlock Wall. Is Deadlock Wall better than Sage Wall and Vise Wall? I don't really like Deadlock Wall. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't know what it is, but I very rarely have major issues with facing a Deadlock. And her wall is just not it. I mean, it has a lot of health, but I mean, it's not that hard to break. But I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, when it's full charged, it's kind of tanky as fuck, but it's not the greatest. I honestly think Sage Wall is a bit better. Personally, I think it's a bit better. I think it's easier to place. It actually functions as a wall. They can still shoot you through this. So, like, even if you throw it to, like, stop the push, you can't move. Like, you can't peek out. You can't reposition unless you're, like, in CT throwing it. You can't really do much with it. You kind of just have to place it, and then if their whole team shoots at it, I don't think it's the smartest move to swing 3 people who are currently shooting, because one of them is going to have the fucking accuracy to hit you. So, I don't think it's great. I don't think it's a fantastic wall. I don't think upping the health would do anything, though. I don't think the health is the issue. I think it's just being able to shoot through a wall is just... So, deadlock sensors D tier. Honestly, they're about to be F. The only reason they're D is because I don't think they're worse than the stim. I mean, like, they're good if you put it on spike, I guess, but the flanks, these flank is useless almost. Like, how many people flank and run? Like, most people don't flank and run. If you know they have a deadlock, all you have to do is flank from one site, and once you get, like, near their like, spawn and their entrance to the second site, you just walk, and you don't get hit by it. So unless they know you're flanking, it's kind of shit. So it's really only good on spike. And then for defense, I mean, it's good on entry points, I guess, for defense, but again, not the greatest. Just not that good. Even on defense, it's not that good. I can think of some specific entry points, like bind, maybe. Bind hookah. If they jump out, they make noise, so it's good. But barring that, not much. Not many good spots for this. I think it's the worst sentinel util for flank in the game. Gravnet. Gravnet's A tier. Gravnet's insane. It's really fucking good. Forces people to crouch. They're slowed like hell, and it never goes away, I think, until you pull it out. So if you know where someone is, this basically combos with every single explosive and, like, damaging utility in the game. It's insane. If you have a recon and you know where they are, just gravnet them and you win. Because if they start pulling out the little thing, you swing them and they kill them. So it's really good. It's a really good piece of utility. I suck with it, but it's definitely probably one of, if not the best part of Deadlock's kit at the moment. Deadlock ult. I know they buffed it. I'm definitely not putting an S. I don't know why I put it up that high. We'll put it B. It's good. It's very strong, especially now that it doesn't break open if it gets stuck. It just kills them. Very good. And if you get lucky and hit the guy with spike, it brings spike to you. Pretty fucking good. But yeah, it's very good. It's easy enough to break if it's a team push and your teammates don't fucking hate you. But it's solid. It's a free kill almost if you hit it in a good position. So I like it a lot. I think it's good. Next up, Fade Eye. Where should I put Fade Eye? Crow's gonna be very mad at me if I put it too low. B. I'm gonna put Sova Dart higher. The reason why Fade Eye's B is because it's too fucking easy to see. I think they need to make it smaller and, like, or maybe more faint when you throw it before it hits the ground. It should be hard to see. I'm fine with, like, after they press the button and it goes straight down to pop up, right? I'm fine with that being a little more visible, but I think when they throw it, it should be a lot less visible because it's so fucking obvious. Like, I think more people have their crosshair, like, the eye is probably better as a distraction rather than a fucking, like, a recon. Because when you see that eye, you can just track it and just, like, people will shoot too early to break it. That's how, like, easy it is to tell. So, I just don't like it. I don't think it's bad. It's just, they need to do, like, a tiny tweak to it if they want Fade to actually compete with Sova. They need to tweak it a bit. Maybe just make it a little bit harder to see on the throw. Something. Okay. Tether. I don't know the exact name for it, though. Let me read the exact name, technically, to make everyone happy. Seize. Seize is fine. I'd say it's B again. It's a decent piece of utility. I mean, yeah, it's good. I don't think it's actually, we'll keep it B. I think it's just kind of like a worse Deadlock Gravnet. because you don't know if you hit anybody with it, and you know if you hit someone with GravNet. I think they need to make it to where C's makes a sound. I know you can see the orb, which means you know you hit someone, but I think like the fact that GravNet makes a sound and C's doesn't is an issue. I think they need to make C's make a sound of some kind, even if it's faint, just something, because you don't know if you hit someone with this. So like if it's behind like a corner, you don't know if you hit someone with it, so then you have to just blind swing, and then since yeah, it lowers their health, but I mean, you know, as you rank up, you're gonna be facing people that hit headshots, so it doesn't even fucking matter if you drop them. You make this do 140 damage decay, doesn't matter, right? If they're good at the game, they're just gonna headshot you when you swing, so who fucking cares? But it's solid, but I think they should make a sound. Prowler, A tier. Prowler's very good. I like Prowler a lot. I think that's probably the best part of Fade's kit currently. Prowler is a strong ability. I think the issue with I don't know. I like it a lot. She has 2, which makes her very good in that regard. And the fact that it combos with her eye and the ult very well, I like. So I think it's probably one of the better pieces of util right now. Very good for clearing corners. It's better to clear corners with eye or with dog than with C's. But I mean, like, then at that point, if you're gonna use dog, you don't need to use C's. Just swing when they start shooting the dog. Like, if you use C's right after, yeah, you're gonna hit them, but then they know you're gonna swing immediately. And they can still swing you, technically. If it's a tiny enough corner, they can still swing you, too, so... Whereas with the GravNet, you can't, so... Yeah, I think the dog is the best part of her kit. Fade ult, we're gonna put it in B. I honestly think Fade ult is just a little worse version of Breach ult, if I'm gonna be 100% honest. I think Breach ult is probably the better one to choose. Actually no, Fade will put A. Fade ult will put A, because it does tell you how many you hit. And it shows you where they are based off the tracks, which is really good. But like that's like the thing about Fade ult that like nobody, like that's not what it was designed for. Like you're not using Fade ult for the, like when they were designing Fade ult, I would argue that the lower health and the noise cancellation was like what they wanted the ult to be good for. I argue it's literally the other 2 things, which is the tethers and the counting out of how many were hit. But the eye does that too. So like it's just a better eye. More or less. I mean, the lower health and the no sound is just a bonus. So I think it's good. I think it's basically just like what you'd prefer. Like, do you want the stun and the knockback where you see in midair, or do you want the tracks so you can see where it goes and the counting out of how many you hit? So I think they're both good. I think they're kind of just like equal. It's kind of just a preference on what you think you'd rather have for an entry or a retake. So. All right, next up we got Gecko. Yeah, that's true. I still think Dog is a little better, but that is true. Where's chat? Hold on. Where's chat at? Oh, no, wait, where's chat? Why isn't chat showing up anymore? What happened to chat? Did I lose the chat? I must have lost, like, chat somehow. Whoops. I don't know. I just think Prowler's better. I like Prowler a lot more. Overall. Gecko! The homie with the best fucking character. Best fucking abilities. Mosh. We're starting with Mosh. I think A is fair. I'm almost tempted to put it in B, but it literally forces people to move. Unlike other mollies where some people will stay in it for, like, you know, stay in it. I guess maybe not, but like it forces people to swing you because of the insta kill. So I think it's good. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it should be lower. Yeah, I'm gonna put in B. I'm already thinking of some better mollies. So yeah, B tier is, I think, better. It's good. It's a good molly. I'm just, as I talk to myself, I'm realizing it's not as good. But it's good. It's a good molly. Insta kills. It just does no damage at the beginning, which is fine. Wingman. Oh, sorry. This one's flash first. Sorry, I got too excited. Dizzy. Dizzy's B tier now. We'll put it in A. It's a recon, okay? I personally, especially now that they nerfed it a little bit, I mean, it's kind of just a recon. I would argue, I mean, the flash is good, but it's definitely a recon with the fact that you can see where the shots go, so it tells you where enemies are. So it's good. It's basically just a recon that also flashes people when they get pinged. So it's a pretty good flash. If it didn't actually show you where it spits or shoots out the goo, shoots the goo, I guess you could say, I would probably rank it lower, but because you can see it, I kind of have to put it in A. I still think Breach Flash is the best in the game, or one of the best in the game, but next up, Wingman. Put him in A. I like Wingman. Wingman is very strong. The fact that they buffed his concuss radius, so now I think it's the fucking width of a breach stun. So it has the width of a breach stun, but you know someone's there because it tells you. So it's a boom bot with a breach stun on it. Like, it's kind of wild. And it plants for you. So you can draw people to swing and kill Wingman to stop the plant, and then you can finish them there. So it's good. It's a very, very, very good piece of utility. Next up, we have Thrash, the ultimate. I'm gonna say it's a little worse than Gecko ults. It's strong. And it's one of the ults that you should farm if you have a Gecko on your team. Just get Orb, because Gecko's gonna be the one that's planting. So you let Gecko get Orb almost every round with Wingman planting, and that's guaranteed. If you get plant down, that's a guaranteed at least 3 orbs, because worst comes to worst, you die, and you get 3 points. And if you win the round, you have 2 points, and you should probably get a kill. So you should probably be at minimum getting 3 ult points a round with Gecko. So you basically can just spam Thrash as much as you want. And then you get 2 because you can pick him up and reuse him. So basically what you do is you grab Orb, you Wingman plant, you get a kill or 2. Let's say every 2 or 3 rounds you get him. When it's a Thrash round, you just ult Thrash's entry, hit someone with it, your team entries and gets a pick. You then plant with Wingman again, pick up Thrash, grab the orb, or you grab the orb, then throw Wingman, then pick up Thrash, and you basically will have 3 points almost to Thrash again before the round ends. So, yeah, Thrash is very good, but it's less to do with, like, the actual ult and more to do with the fact that you get fucking points. You can get points while still using your ult on the second turn. I think if they remove that, I'd probably put him lower, but because you can still get ult points after you use him once and you pick him up, you can still get the ult points for him, so for the next round, so I'm gonna put him at A just because of that. Alright, Harbor. Harbor I ranked D tier on my tier list, I believe. Yeah, he's only good on select maps. First off, we got his Cove. It's his bulletproof dome. It's funny, I like playing Harbor. I like Harbor as like he's fun to play in my opinion. I don't like a lot of his utility. I think Cove is solid though. B. Yeah, I think Cove is good. Cove is good. It lasts 15 seconds, so it's probably roughly the length of a regular smoke. Bulletproof. Obviously, if they can break it, which means it doesn't last at all if they break it. So, not the greatest. And most people just fucking shoot it anyways, especially if you're trying to plant in it. So, it's a solid smoke, but I mean, use it more for the bullet protection. Next up, Cascade. Cascade is his mini wall, the one that he throws forward. This thing is kind of dog shit. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. It's kind of dog shit. Like, you basically gave him 2 walls, and I don't know why they did that. I kind of don't like Cascade. Like, I think they did that because they wanted Harbor... maybe I'm wrong here. I think they wanted Harbor to be a viable replacement for Viper. The problem is... And the problem with Viper mainly was the fact that she would run out of smoke, and then she'd have no smokes for the team. The problem is Cascade does not fill that problem at all. It lasts, like, I think 5 seconds, 7 seconds after you stop it. So maybe 9 after, like, when you first throw it, the 2 seconds, and then the 7 seconds pause. So maybe 9 seconds max, and it just is kind of shit. Okay. I mean, I guess it, like, on Pearl is where I play Harbor the most. I can think of key instances where, like, yeah, okay, it's fine. But barring that, I just don't think it's that great. It definitely could use some improvements. I don't think they should make it last too much longer, because then that's too much. Honestly, I would be fine if they removed the slow effect from Cascade and increased the duration to, like, 12 seconds. Or, like, 10 seconds, maybe. I feel like just remove the slow effect, increase the duration of it, so it's a real fucking smoke, and it actually would be a much better utility piece, I feel like. I don't think that the slow does enough to make it lasting only 7 seconds good. Alright, his wall. I mean, it's a smoke. I think it's better than Brim Smoke, so it makes you feel better. And it recharges, so unlike Viper Ult, you can use it multiple times. It's good. It's a solid utility piece. But again, I mean, it also slows your teammates, so, like, unlike other smokes that your teammates can go in, you can't. Like, you can't, like, walk through this, really, because they're gonna immediately see you as soon as you exit, and the slowness is gonna fuck you. So, I just don't like it. I shouldn't say I don't like it. I don't hate it. It's a good smoke, but you can't use it like other smokes, if that makes sense. Like, your team can't be aggressive with it. Like, whenever you Wallace Harbor is like, okay, take this space and don't go a step further past my wall. Whereas with other smokes, you can kind of, like, let, like, a Jet or a Raze or a Reyna get aggressive and, like, swing out your smoke, get a kill, maybe dash back or dismiss back or some shit, right? So, I think it's, like, in that regard, it's like, you hold the space that you draw. So, if you don't draw, like, a wide space to take more space for your team, they're stuck with only holding what you've drawn on. And I think if you draw too much, though, it basically doesn't cover anything and becomes useless. So I don't think it's that. It's not the greatest. It's not bad. But there's definitely better smokes coming up. Harbor ult, Reckoning. Reckoning's unique. I'm trying to think of where I want to put this. I don't think it's bad. It kind of fills the niche of Breach and Fade ult, because it stuns like Breach ult, but then it tells you where enemies are like Fade ult. But then it's not guaranteed to stun like Breach ult. And it doesn't tell you as good of where they are as Fade ult. I think I have to put it in B. It's basically just a shit love child of Fade and Breach ult. Like, it tells you where they are generally, but obviously they're gonna move. Fade ult, at least you can follow the tethers or use dog. And then the concuss doesn't always hit the way Breach ult does, which means that it's not gonna be, like... You're still basically fighting 1v1s, you're just more prepped to know where they are and if they're gonna swing you or not. So I think I have to put it in B. It's kind of just a worse version of both. Next up, we have ISO and his ISO wall. I want to put this, like, higher. I think this thing is kind of dog shit. Maybe it's because I suck. Or maybe it's because I'm only Diamond Ascendant. But I don't think his wall is that good. I mean, it's bulletproof. That's cool, I suppose. But outside of that, it's just not that great. It's kind of mediocre. Not even mediocre, it's kind of shit. I mean, I think utility goes through it, though. Which isn't bad, but, like, he just stops bullets. That's it. So, I don't like it. I don't like ISO wall. ISO shield. His little pill bug. This, honestly, is kind of nutty. It's kind of nutty mode. The fact that ISO shield does what it does and defends as much as it does is crazy. Obviously, it can, literally, if you get shot with one pellet, it goes away. And obviously, like, if you get hit by a raised rocket, it protects the whole damage. So it's very, like, you know, And now with the nerfs, it's not as strong, but it's still S tier, I think. I think it's still probably one of the best ability, like, one of the best, like, what's it called? Signature abilities? I think it's one of the best signature abilities in the game. It's an ability you get for free. You can keep using it if you get kills, so it rewards aggressive playstyles. And it's honestly not that hard to hit the orb when you get a kill with it. And I think even assists count. So it's kind of insane. I love it. I think it's really good. And it's basically just the op counter. Like, if you're worried about ops, if you have a problem with ops, just play ISO. Op, like, you know, even the wall is good for ops. So, like, ISO is just the op counter. So, definitely an S tier ability. ISO decay, I guess. I mean, it's fine. It's pretty wide radius. I think it's almost as wide. It's a little bit shorter. I think it's a little bit thinner than a Omen blind, but it's much faster. So, like, it's a pretty good entry utility. You just pop this, throw this to one of the corners at the beginning of a entry site, and just swing it. I mean, if you don't get the kill that way, where you shoot them, you literally have to shoot them twice and they die, right? So if you don't get the kill there, you basically can tank a headshot, that's kind of on you, I think, at that point. I don't think there's anyone else to blame but yourself. ISO ult. We're gonna put this in A tier. Now, I was gonna put it in B tier because I put, like, you know, Clove ult in B tier due to the fact that it depends on who's playing them. I'm putting ISO ult in A tier because even if you're bad, you take someone off the fight for a few seconds. Not a few seconds, like several seconds. If your team entries off it, they can find the body and insta-kill the person. Not only that, but ISO ult, it disables any utilities that you grab. So if you grab, like, a Cypher or Killjoy, their utility turns off. So it not only is like a KO knife, but directly for the people you want to hit with it. It's also a zoning ult to 1v1, and it almost guarantees a kill if your teammates are aggressive enough to actually play with the ISO and go after their body. So it's good. And if you're going Hero Vandal and you die, your teammate can pick up the Vandal. It doesn't go away or go to the enemy team. You can just pick it up. So I think it's a really good ult. I don't think it's S tier ult, but I think it's very, very good. Next up, we have Jet Dash. Is Jet Dash better than Chamber TP? Because those are really the only two abilities. Well, there's 4 get out of jail free cards that I think of total. I think we'll put it in A. I think Jet Dash is a little... No, S. S. Jet Dash S. The amount of nerfs they've done to this thing is fucking psychotic. But, in my opinion, all the things they did to Jet Dash really just made it to where you have to be aggressive as a player. They didn't want Jets to just be holding op angles for 10 years, and then the moment they kill someone, just dash away. They didn't want that shit. Be aggressive with Jet. That's what Jet is designed for. Be aggressive. Push on. Be aggressive, as the cheerleaders say. So, you know, be aggressive with Jet. It's basically just the opposite of Chamber TP, which I put in A tier. Fuck, is it? I guess it is better than Chamber TP, because you can be aggressive more with the Jet Dash than Chamber TP. That makes sense. Yep, S tier. I still stand by it. Updraft! I guess B, it's fine. You only get one. So, make that shit fucking count. And there's not a whole, like, there's enough, but, like, there isn't enough places to need it, if that makes sense. Like, there is, but not really. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, situations where, like, an updraft is super viable. 80% of the time I see a Jet with an updraft, they use it just randomly when they're getting shot at, and they just start spinning, like, oh my god, I'm getting shot at. That's basically what they do with it. Because they get jump scared. Like, it's just not it. You know? Like, it's not a bad ability, and it gets you to some good positions. But outside of that, I wouldn't say it's anything better than B tier. Jet Dash Smoke. This is the Jet Dash Smoke, by the way. This is the Omen one, just so you don't get it mixed up. Jet Smoke! I'll put it in B as well. It obviously doesn't last very long. I think it lasts like 5 seconds or some shit. Let me check the wiki. It's fine. Yeah. Oh, 2.5 seconds is what this says. Shit, that's even worse. It's still good though. It's good for Jet. It's like only for Jet. So when it comes to like, unless you've seen those fucking TikToks where they like turn around and smoke their teammate, which to me makes no fucking sense because like 95% of the time in those TikToks they throw it, they're in a choke and then they turn to smoke it. Like if you're in a choke, just smoke the choke. They're not gonna shoot your teammate or you. You smoking your teammate just gives you like an opening. Like it's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's a good smoke, but like for her and nobody else. It is entirely for you. And it lasts 2.5 seconds. So it kind of poopy. Kind of not the greatest. Hey, Blue Rim. Next up is Jet Knives. Yeah, if I'm putting Op in S, I kind of have to put Jet Knives in S, don't I? I don't think I have a choice in the matter there, do I? Jet Knives are good. They're good. They're very good. I suck. I'm bad with them. I am not a Jet main by any stretch of the imagination, but they're good. Save you money. They basically are almost a guaranteed ace if you're competent. Where do you put Cypher Trips? I put Trips at B, I believe. Especially after the nerf. I put them at B tier. Especially with the amount of people you face to counter them. I think they have too many counters to put them in A. But I think they're good. B tier is good, by the way. Don't think B tier is bad. A lot of people think B tier is like bad, and I don't understand that. Next up, KO and KO Molly. It goes through walls now. Well, not now, but it goes through walls. Does good damage. It's more of a time waster than anything, though. Where did I put other mollies? I'll probably just keep the same and put it in B again. Yeah, I think it's good. I think like there's a couple better mollies on this list, but I think it's still pretty good. So like I brim molly in S because it lasts for 7 fucking seconds and insta kills anybody that touches it, basically. And then KO molly is like shorter duration, shorter damage. It's just kind of like a worse molly, and there's not as many lineups for it. So although there's plenty of lineups, don't like think there isn't, but it's just not as good as brim molly. So I think B tier is good because there's a couple mollies that are gonna go in A's here in a second. KO flash A tier. Actually, no, I think A tier is great for it. Some Phoenix changes coming? The Phoenix changes already happened, boss. The, like, wall going, his Phoenix wall going through walls and all that? Yeah, that's changed already. Yeah. So that'll be here in a second, don't worry. We're doing Phoenix changes. That's why I actually did this tier list now, because the Phoenix changes finally came out and I can give an opinion on it. KO Knife. Yeah. KO Knife is pretty fucking good. KO's a great initiator, by the way. I think there's a lot of initiators that are good. I think Breach and KO are like 2 initiators that are so fucking slept on because I think they're probably, nowadays, are insanely good. I think I put Breach in B and KO in B on my tier list. I think I've seen them a lot more recently, and I think they're getting a lot better. I think, like, even though they haven't changed shit with either of them, I think they're just both pretty good. Like, all their utility is super skill-based. Yeah, it shuts down pushes instantly, so I just think KO Knife is really good. KO ult also is probably gonna go in S tier. It basically gives you free sight, right? It turns off all Sentinel utility. I don't know if it turns off Vi's wall. That actually may be an exception. But it turns off almost all utility. Actually, all utility. It allows you to get rezzed, which is kind of cool. You shoot faster, I believe. I think it's kind of like a mini Rain ult where you shoot faster. Yeah, and it shuts down a ton of ults. Raze ult, Jet ult, Chamber ult, Neon ult. Trying to think of what other ults it shuts down. It doesn't shut down Clove ult, which I think is really fucking dumb. Or Phoenix ult, though, to be fair. But yeah, it shuts down all, like, the major scary ults that you hear, like, when you hear them trying to defend or, like, retake. It shuts all them down. Oh, yeah, it turns off Sova ult, too. It just is a fantastic ult. Yeah. S tier. I think that's totally fair. I don't think too many people will be mad at that. Alarm bot. Fuck. That's true. It does prevent lineups too if they're not close. Oh, see, this is where I'm gonna have some issues because I play KJ a lot, so I'm gonna try and be fair here because Killjoy is definitely not the best Sentinel. I still think Cypher is probably the best Sentinel in the game currently. I guess out of her whole kit, probably Alarm Bot would be the B tier. I think out of her whole kit, I'd have to put Alarm Bot at B because, like, it's so easy to break. It's very easy to see, like, because its radius is so big, you see it from far away as well. So it's pretty easy to break unless you're just like holding W and you're not actually like looking for them on the site. So it's pretty easy to break. I mean, it's good, but I think, like, especially on Ascent, where no matter where you put it on Ascent, like 9 out of 10 times people are gonna break it, no matter where you put it. So I'm gonna say it's B tier. It's good, but not the greatest. Molly, A tier. I'm tempted to put Nano in S. I'm very tempted to put Nano in S tier. I kind of want to put it in S tier. Yeah, fuck you. I'm putting it in S tier. Suck my cock. Yeah, her Molly lasts a while. It does great damage. I think it makes them vulnerable too. So it's basically Alarm Bot, but you choose to set it off. It does great damage. You can choose to set it off at any time. Yeah, people can break it, but like if you're playing post and you're smart about it, the moment you know anybody's on site and they're getting close to spike, you should just pop it. Like, you should just pop it. Like, I do it sometimes too. A lot of people that I watch play KJ will like try to wait until they hear tap. You shouldn't be waiting till you hear tap, honestly. You should be popping it the moment you know like they're close to spike. Even if they haven't tapped it, just pop it. Just because it permanently stalls them. Because 90% of the time people shoot it if they're actually good. So, it does high damage, makes them vulnerable. I think it's a great Molly. It's definitely equal to Brim Molly. I think Brim might be... I mean, you get 2 of these, so I think you can argue they're even. If not, maybe the Killjoy Molly's a little better. Maybe I'm just biased because I play KJ a fuck ton, but I think it's good. Turret, A tier. I love Turret. Here's why I love Turret. You can play with the Outlaw. I have, like, I think 2 or 3 shorts already posted on my channel where, I just play with the Outlaw. And I just sit there on Ascent B site. My turret goes off and shoots them for 10. I shoot them once and they die. It's awesome. I fucking love this shit. Yeah, am I being a little biased? Yes. And also, a turret's really good for flank. Yeah, that's also very true. I would argue Cypher Trip's a little better because it's universal util when it comes to flank. But I think the turret, just the fact that it does damage, and it just... There are positions where you can put it to where, like, they have to swing left to fight it, and you can swing the other side and just kill them on the spot. It just makes it really good. It's very versatile. I like it a lot. Killjoy ult. See, again, I keep getting stuck on Ascent. I need to stop getting stuck on Ascent because here's why. Killjoy ult on Ascent is insane. You're going to be facing Sovas a lot, so they may break it a lot of the time, but that just pulls out the post plant util. And it just, on every site, there is a location where you can use it and pretty much secure the round. So it's very good on Ascent, but then, like, I'm trying to think of maps where it's not good. It's good on Bind. It's good on Ascent. It's good. Is it good on... It's not great on Abyss, I don't think. I don't think there's any... Other than maybe A-side Abyss. B-side Abyss, I think it's terrible. I could be wrong, though. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know the range. I'd have to see. I don't play Killjoy ever on Abyss. What are the other maps right now? Pearl. It's solid on Pearl, so it's 3 maps. Split. Yeah, it's got its... Okay, I'll put it in A. I think A's fair. I think there's too much stuff that can break it to put in S. I mean, you have Brim, Sova, Raze, like so much KO, Breach. There's so... I think KO Molly breaks it now. Actually, no, they up the health, so it may not. How much health does it have? That's actually a good thing to check. That'll define if I put it in A or S. Let's check the Killjoy wiki. It has 200 health. We'll put it in S. Yeah, Breeze isn't that good. I'm putting it in S because now that means that the Aftershock for Breach doesn't kill it. KJ or KO Molly doesn't break it. I don't even think Raze Nade, unless it's a direct hit, breaks it. don't even know if Raise Nade breaks it, to be honest. So you usually have to use an ult to counter it. So it's at bare minimum drawing out a free ult, or you're taking free sight. So I think it's fair to put it in S. I think it's really, really good. All right. The bitch herself, Neon. My God, this chick is crazy. Sprint. This is sprint and slide. So we're just gonna, sprint and slide are gonna kind of be matched up S tier. The slide is so fucking annoying. Yeah, I know. You can shoot her mid-slide. Shut the fuck up, okay? The fact that you can mid-slide have perfect accuracy needs to be changed. I don't give a fuck if they keep her kit the exact same. Remove the no aim penalty. That's it. That's it. Just take that from her slide, and I don't give a fuck anymore, okay? Because it's a better jet dash that you can shoot during and have perfect accuracy. Why the fuck did they think that was a good call? I should say it's a better jet dash. You have to be moving to use it. But, like, it's a slightly slower jet dash, still pretty fucking quick. And you can shoot during it where you can't during jet, and you have to pull out your gun during jet dash, after the jet dash. You don't have to for this. You can do it you shoot mid-slide. What the fuck are we talking about here? It's insane. Just remove the aim penalty, please. Just remove the no aim penalty. Give her aim penalty while she slides, and I don't give a fuck. Okay? I don't give a fuck. Her wall. We'll say B. It's good. It's very finicky. It's very hard to use, in my opinion. But it's good. It's a good wall. I think now that Phoenix's wall goes through walls, I think hers can as well if you do it a certain way. I don't know how. But yeah, it doesn't go over things when you look up. It's just very finicky. I do like the changes they made from base where like it used to do damage to people. I do like how they removed that. I think it's solid. I think it's good, but I don't think it's the best. I think like it's just kind of me. Like especially on defense, I'll a lot of times just like literally play in the wall and then I'll kill neons because they don't expect people to just sit in the wall. Like I'll just sit in the wall. I don't give a fuck. You have to spray that. You better spray me. Like you better know I'm in that wall because I just sit there 80% of the time and they'll try and fight me and I just shoot them. So it's good, but I don't think it's A tier. I think it should be B tier. Her stun, oh my fucking God. Don't even get me started on her stun. Don't get me started on her stun, okay? I don't know what it is, but every time I fight a neon with her stun, I feel like I can never dodge it. Like it feels impossible to dodge. It feels like it has a massive radius and you're guaranteed to get hit. And that coupled with the slide, if you get hit by the stun and she has a slide, you're dead. You're dead. You're not going to win that fight. You lost. You better have the fastest function? What? Okay. I'm not functioning right now. You should have you have to have the best, fuck, now I can't even think of words. Oh my God. You have to have the best reaction time on the planet if you're going to get stunned by this. Because if you get stunned, you're dead. Like, slide, bop, dead. Move on. Speaking of slide, bop, dead. Ult. Oh my God. Oh my God. This thing is wild. It's so fucking wild. It is skill-based, I agree. But it's basically like a better version of these two. You use it on an eco. Whoops. You use it on an eco. And it's just really fucking good. It does a ton of damage. Headshots melt people. It's insanely powerful. And the fact that she gets 2 slides with no aim penalty is insane. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, but Neon right now is arguably the best duelist. I would say the best, period. I don't think there's a debate here. I think your wall is still good, but like, one of these 3 things, at minimum, needs to be changed, in my opinion. I would say out of these 3, either the slide or the ult. I would say the slide. I think the slide is the best thing to change, because her ult obviously is only like every 7 rounds. I think it's 7, right? Well, not every 7 rounds, but you get it after 7 ult points. You're not going to be seeing it every round. Yeah, it is 7. But yeah, it's crazy. If you change her slide, her ult will be affected. Yeah, exactly. That's why I think the slide should be better. I mean, like, even then, I don't even have a major issue with her slide making it be perfectly accurate still. Like, when it comes to the ult. When it comes to guns, no, it shouldn't be perfectly accurate. With her slide and her ult, I actually don't have a major issue with that because it's an ultimate. And she has to, like, you have to, if you're ready for a neon ult, you can sometimes counter it, but I just think you have to change one of these 3. Specifically the slide. I think the slide is the biggest issue right now. Okay, Omen had some changes recently, specifically his smokes. The smokes can't make nearly as many one-ways anymore. Few exceptions to that. I'm hesitant to put his smokes in A. I'm very hesitant. I personally, when I play Omen, and I play Omen quite a bit, I was not a major one-way connoisseur. I didn't use it too much. That kind of means that his nerf to me did fuck all. I use it sometimes, but a lot of the one-ways I did was like that Ascent one, and you can still do that. So I'll put it in B to make sure I'm not too offensive. Because I think, personally, if you're gonna play an aggressive playstyle, play Clove. Clove smokes are faster to put down. You can put multiple down at once. You can put them down while you're dead. If you want to play an aggressive smoke character, I feel like Clove is just the better pick. Right now, at least. And this is for comp, by the way. I'm not doing this for, like, pro play. I know Omen is nutty in pro play, but, like, that's very different than competitive. If you think your competitive team plays like pro players, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're a fucking moron. Okay, so I think Clove is just the better pick for comp compared to, like, Clove smokes. Smokes are a better pick for comp than Omen smokes. But that's just me. Next up, Omen TP. Minimum B or A, really? I was putting him C. I don't think they're that great. I mean, sure, you can have some fun moments with them, but, like, how often, like, I've had rounds where I'll never use a TP. Yeah, I know paired with his blind can be very good, but, like, I have rounds where I don't fucking TP. Because, like, I don't have a reason to. I don't know. Yeah, I know with Fatal, but I don't want to go that far, because then it's like, well, then everything with Fatal is good. Fatal with Resonate is fucking insane then at that point. You know, Fatal with Mosh is insane at that point. Yeah, I know. Okay, we'll put it in B. I'll put it in B. That's fair. That's fair enough. We'll put it in B only because, yeah, it's a lot, it's mobility. I don't think it's, yeah, it's B. It's fine. We'll keep it at B. I'm not putting A, though. I don't think it's good enough for A. I think A utility is still much better. I think it's fine, though. I think it's just the range isn't that high. I think it's, I don't know. It's decent for fakes. Yeah, I mean, you can TP in smokes, but I don't know. I just don't see it being used too often. Unless you're, like, doing the blind TP strat, you use it for high spots, and that's it. It's just a better updraft at that point, though. So, eh. Omen blind! I think A is fine. I was gonna put it in B almost. I think his blind's good. I think it's super fucking slow. But, like, other than that, it's good. I don't think it's S tier worthy, but, like, it's good. It's so easy to fucking... It's so easy to dodge these, unless they're, like, in tight spots, but you gotta, like, you also have to remember, especially when it comes to a lot of utility, obviously a lot of it's based off how good you are. So, I'm trying to base it just off, like, pure, like, how it is, and it's slow, okay? I dodge, like, I think 60 to 80% of the Omen blinds that are thrown my way, so good, but definitely not the best blind flash in the game. Omen ult. I'm tempted to put it in C tier, but we're gonna put it in B tier. It's good, I guess. I mean, you can use it for recons occasionally if you truly want to. I mean, for some areas, I mean, it's obviously great for picking up Spike, right? You can pick up Spike, and rotate with it. Especially with fakes, you know, if it's a 1v1 or 1v2, it's good. It's good for, like, if the only time I would say an Omen's ult is, like, super good to be aggressive with is with Fade ult. That's the only time. But you're popping 2 ults at that point. Like, it better be fucking good. Because then they don't hear you use it, and they don't know where you are. So if you hear Fade ult hits 5, press X. On the spot, if you hear Fade hit, say, mark 5, press X, use it. I don't give a fuck if it's a save for them, I don't care. because you might as well, because you're basically guaranteed the win if you do that, because they have no idea you ulted. Yeah, it's solid, but it's definitely not the best ult in the game, especially for the cost. I think it's like 7. All right, Phoenix Flash. Phoenix Flash is now his signature ability. Used to be his Molly, now it's his Flash. I put Phoenix C tier before the update. I think Phoenix is much better now. And I think his Flash is still B tier. Kiss me. I think Phoenix Flash is like the only Flash in the game where you can be full blind and almost guaranteed to still get the kill. Like, every other Flash and blind in this game, almost, maybe barring Reyna's, you know they're gonna swing. Phoenix is right next to the corner that he threw that shit at. So, yeah. I know some people do that, like, reverse one, which is fine. But I definitely think there are much better Flashes out there and blinds out there, which we'll get to at the end, sadly. Shox is going to be ecstatic for what I say about Yoru, but that's at the end. So, next up, Phoenix Molly. Phoenix Molly is very strong. Not S. We'll say S tier. Fuck it. Fuck it, it's S tier. It heals him. Does crazy damage. Like, it's really fast at killing. Let me check. Let me check its damage, because it kills quick. I don't know if it's faster than Brim's, but it's 60. I think it's the same. So it does the same damage as Brim Molly, and it also heals him. Now, it doesn't last for nearly as long as Brim Molly, but that's fine. It doesn't have to. It does a ton of damage, and so you're basically, if they're trying to defuse and you land this quick enough, you're basically guaranteed to kill almost. It does a fuck ton of damage. Next up, we have Phoenix Wall. Fuck. Phoenix Wall is solid now. I think it's B tier. I think it's a great piece of utility. It's not the best in his kit, but it's good. Put it up through walls now. So it's basically like a mini harbor wall. It doesn't last as long as a harbor wall, but you don't really need that. I think Phoenix coupled with like a Sova can do some real damage. Just because his wall lasts long enough to where you can either recon through it. If you're going on certain entry points like a Scent B site, you can just shock dart lane, wall both market and CT, and take lane almost instantly. And you also can take button almost instantly like that. It's a very good piece of utility, and the fact that it goes through walls as well makes it very easy to use. So I like it a lot. I think B tier is a fair rating for Phoenix Wall. Next up, Phoenix Ult. Phoenix Ult kind of go hard now. Phoenix is like the third, I think it's the third character I would say, just grind his orbs for ult. It's 6 ult points. So if Phoenix is being aggressive and getting the kills he needs, if he's grabbing orb, he should have ult almost every 1 to 2 rounds. Like every other round he should have it. And if he gets an ace, he literally like, if he pops ult, or if he grabs orb, pops ult, or no, sorry, other way around. If he pops ult, gets a kill or 2, then grabs orb, and then gets you know, another kill, he's already almost halfway there, you know? If not halfway there. Like, he can get his ult almost every 2 rounds. It's crazy. It makes him a very, very good agent. So, his ult is pretty good. I think Phoenix now, with the changes, they weren't major, but I think they're really good. Especially now that he doesn't have to stand his Molly. He can just keep swinging, and he still gets the heal a little bit for a few seconds. Very nice. Boombot! B. B for Boombot. I'm tempted to put it in C, actually. Because it's, like, Wingman and Prowlers are just so much better than Boombot now. It lasts no time at all. It does, like, half damage. It's just not good. It lasts, what, 5 seconds? That's it? And it's so easy to break. It's a worse Wingman. I'd rather get the stun than the fucking explosion. So, I don't like it. I think it's bad. I think it's not good. It used to be insanely good. I don't think it's nearly as good anymore. But, Raise Nade, S tier. Don't even fucking question me on that. Raise Nade is insane. I don't give a fuck. You can't tell me Raise Nade is not, one of the best pieces of utility in the game. It's so good. Breaks utility, clears corners, kills people easily. it is insanely good for her kit. Like, it is unstoppable. Speaking of insanely good, Blast Pack is A. I think it's a little worse than like dash and slide because you obviously have to press the button multiple times and you have to look down or like at a wall or like to your side to blast away, right? So you have to like disengage from the fight for a little bit to use it for like a quarter of a second, which obviously makes it a little bit worse in those regards. So I don't want to put it in S, but it gives you great mobility. And the nerfs to it made it to where I think it's definitely just a solid A. I think before you could argue S tier, but now I think it's A tier. I don't think it's as good. But yeah, I don't think it's the greatest. I shouldn't say I don't think it's the greatest. I think it's worse as a mobility piece of utility than dash, slide, and teleport. Chamber teleport, be specific. So, good, but not as good as those. Raise ult! That may be a little unfair. B tier. It's so mid. It's okay. It's just so in-fucking consistent. I'm sorry, but Raise ult just doesn't make sense to me. There are times where you'll use Raise ult and it'll just die in the water, and there'll be other times where, like, you get 3 kills. I don't understand it, but it's not the greatest. So, next up, Reyna Blind! A tier. I think all the buffs to it made it actually pretty good. Has unlimited range now, pretty much. Takes several fucking bullets to break. It takes a lot. And if you're a good Reyna, you can pretty much entry on most sites. So, great blind now. Not the best blind flash in the game, but still very, very good. I'd argue it's probably, I don't think it's better than Omen Blind. I think Omen Blind comboed with a good duelist is better than Reyna comboed with her team, but I think Reyna Blind is still very strong. All right, Reyna heal. B tier. I mean, if you're facing a team with any coordination, Reyna heal just is not the greatest. If you're facing a team with any coordination, you're probably going to be using dismiss like 5 times more than your heal. Obviously, like if you're like lurking as Reyna and you get a pick after they rotated, so you get a 1v1 and you get the heal off, that's great, but outside of that, like her heal ability is just better when she's ulted, obviously. So like it's just not I think dismiss is definitely better though. Dismiss is S tier. I truly think dismiss is S tier. It's very good. If you are getting a pick or a kill and there's any wall in your area, dismiss guarantees that you get out for free. And unlike, you know, dash and teleport and things like that, you can't be killed if you're pressing dismiss. If you hit the dismiss button on time, it's free. Like you're guaranteed to live. Whereas the other ones, if you hit the button on time, sometimes you may, you know, dash halfway and get shot mid-dash for some reason. Shit like that. So, I think dismiss is very strong. And especially comboed with the ult. I'm gonna put ult in B because it's very similar to Clove ult, very similar to like I don't know, what were the other ults I was talking about? Very similar to like, you know, her ult and Harbor ult. It's very skill-based. A lot of these other ults, especially higher up, are kind of just like, if you land them, you basically have value. Reyna ults, unless you do damage and your team kills them, unless you get the kill, it's kind of mid. You obviously have to have good aim, and any Reyna that's ulted can be easily countered by a single headshot. So it's like, you know, all these other ults kind of prevent or make it much harder to headshot. Hers doesn't. So very skill-paced, still solid, but not the greatest. Next up, Sage Wall. I'm putting it higher than Deadlock Wall. I don't think it's that much better though. I don't. So easy to break. Unless it's insta-walled before the enemy team can swing it, but then like you're wasting your wall if they don't go the site or where you put it, so there's specific maps, maybe like split mid is obviously good, but barring that, like, unless you know they're gonna go the site, kind of just is meh. Not very good. Not very bad, not very good. Good for res though. Good to help with res, because res needs all the help it can fucking get, so it's fine. Sage heal. I believe it got buffed a little bit recently, to where now I think you heal yourself 50, right, instead of 30. Let's see if this wiki's been updated. I think it has. Yeah. So it heals 50 now. Which is solid. It's better. But I'm still putting in B tier because there's a much better heal coming up, so why the fuck would I put it higher than B? The self-heal makes it better now that it's 50, so like, you know, you can take at least 1 or 2 bullets from a Vandal or Phantom, so it makes it a little better, but it's still like, there's still better heals. Still better heal out there, so I just don't think it's that great. Next up, Slow Orb. Slow Orb is good. Slow Orb is actually pretty good. I think Slow Orb is probably, it's probably her best PC utility right now, which sounds kind of odd, I know, but being able to stop pushes with Slow Orb is so nice. So, I think it's good. It's probably her best piece of utility. That's it. It's just the best piece of utility she has right now. Because Res is fucking dog doo-doo. Res is terrible. Res is fucking awful. It takes so long to pop Res. If someone killed your teammate 80 to 90% of the time, if you didn't get the refrag, you're not resing it. Unless you're gonna use your wall. Like, what the fuck? Almost all of these other ults, you don't need to use other utility, or if you use other utility, it's a guaranteed value with it. Even if you use wall with res, in several areas where you're gonna do that, you can still shoot the resed person's head. So like, what the fuck? Yeah, no, it's not a good ult, and so many sages just don't use it, and it's because it's hard to get a good res off. Because usually, like, let's say they take a site, and it's like, unless it's a 3v2, and someone died off-site somehow to where you can res, you're not resing. Like, 90% of the time, people use, like, literally your teammates will probably shout, bait me with the res. Because, like, it's just such a bad ult. It's just a fucking Yoru decoy at this point. Like, just bait them with it. Like, that's it. That's all it is. It's a free Yoru, it's an ultimate Yoru decoy. So, it's bad. It's not good. I almost am gonna put it in F. I think that obviously there are instances where you get a lot of value from it though, so I don't want to put it in F, but it's those instances are few and far in between. Like there's nothing. Skyblind! Skyblind's good. Actually B. I'm putting in B, and here's why I'm putting in B. Because of the fact that they made it blow up regardless now, which means you can't pop flash or fake flash. And the fact that it doesn't calm if you hit someone or not anymore makes it not good. So, it's no longer a recon utility, it is simply a blind utility. So it's much worse. And now that it doesn't recharge, it went from having, by the way, Sky's changes have been insane. Sky went from having 3 blinds that recharge, that you could fake flash, you could shoot them, but you could also fake flash, or like you basically pop flash and almost guarantee the kill, to having 2 that don't recharge, that always blow up and don't tell you if they're there or not. It's crazy how much this has changed. But yeah, it's just not very good now. It's not bad, but like they're definitely better kits up here. Skydog is good though. Skydog is a good dog. It can break trips, or it can tell you where trips are. It can't break them, but it can tell you where they are. Stuns people. Concusses now also stop jet and neon slides. They don't go as far, which makes it really good. So concusses in general are just kind of better now. So overall, very good. Very good PC utility. Overall, I would say I think the dog is pretty good. Next up, Sky Heal. Sky Heal's going above Sage Heal. Area Effect Heal can heal multiple teammates. Heal them up to full. It's good. I think if you put Sky Heal any lower than A, you're kind of crazy. It's the best heal in the game. By far. There's only like 2. Technically 3 if you want to include Reyna's, and Cloves. But I still think it's the best heal for support in the game. I just think Cloves heal's good for them, but that's it. Sky Ult! A tier as well. Sky Ult is good. I like Sky Ult. Gives you info. It blinds them. I think they move slower while they're blind too. So maybe they don't, but it blinds them. Makes it very good. It's a very good ult. Especially if there's only 3 people left. You just pop that shit, you know where the enemy is, and you can just take whatever site you feel you need to. Or you know where they're pushing, and you just rotate and fight them. It's a great ult. Good, solid ult. Sova drone. I'm gonna put this the same as dog, or fox, or what is it? It's a Tasmanian devil or some shit. The reason why I'm putting it the same is because I think it's better because you ping instead of concuss, and it's a lot easier to ping instead of concuss, but you also have to fly it weirdly if you want to hit trips, whereas Skydog almost always hits trips. All you have to do is press jump, and you pretty much will hit it. Sova drone, you have to fly weirdly. Sometimes you miss and may have to go back to hit it. It just, eh. So I think it's worse in that regard, but I think the pinging makes it, like, makes up for it and keeps it an A, so I think it's just kind of preference, which one you prefer. So, it's a good. Sova Recon S tier. They have nerfed this shit fucking 6 times, and it's still the best recon in the game. Oh my god, it is just, they can't figure out how to make this not viable, or not the best. It's just so good. It can be shot anywhere on the map, pings twice. If you're below fucking immortal, your teammates probably just stare at it and think it's fucking candy and let you die because of it. I've done it too, by the way, so I'm not talking shit on teammates. I'm just saying in general, almost nobody shoots darts in this fucking game for some reason, and it just is a pain in the ass. Very good piece of utility. Probably the best in the game. Probably the best recon in the game. Not actually probably, it is the best recon in the game. Speaking of one of the best, Shock Dart is also S tier. It is. It's instant 75 damage if you know where people are, which with recon makes that very easy. It breaks all utility with the exception of cipher cages. But that's unbreakable anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. And you can have a million lineups with it. Or if you don't, and the thing is, if you can't even learn lineups, you plant. When they start trying to take site, you look up, shoot double bounces on both shock darts, and if there's no roof, you win. So if you're not on Icebox, or Abyss, no, Abyss has no roof on B. I mean, A, I think there's a section if you plant on bridge, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't think, maybe on Abyss you can't, but if you're not on specific sites, you basically just look up, stand over spike, double bounce, full charge, and you have plant stall. So you don't even need lineups for this shit, even though so many people do. So it's S tier. It has to be S tier. Sova ult. Yeah, I know, it's going forever. We're trying to go through it quick. Next one is the Sova ult. Sova ult is A tier. It's very good. It's one of the 2 ultimates that break KJ ult, so it's a good counter to it. The only problem is, obviously, it takes a while to, like, you can't kill directly, so if it's a 1v2, I mean, you can kill directly, but it takes 2 shots. So if it's a 1v2 post-plant situation, ulting does not become nearly as valuable as a 1v1. Because if it's a 1v2, you just pop it, you only get 1 hit off at most, maybe you shoot a second time, but then the enemy's gonna be swinging you any second, you gotta cancel the rest of the ult. So, it's great, but I can't put it in S tier. So, very good, not S tier. Viper! Viper was nerfed to high hell. Orb. I think I have to put Orb at the same as Cove. Where's Cove? Cove is B tier, right? Yeah, B tier. Now that you can't pick it up, you kind of have to just commit where you're going to smoke as Viper. And that's kind of why Viper is such a good high rank character, but then if you go down to the lower ranks, she's literal dog shit, because if you fuck up your placement, you can't get it back. After the round starts. And that made it very frustrating. Her orb used to be probably S tier in my opinion, but I think removing that capability makes it to where you either have to save it for post, or you have to set it down for the entry and you can't reuse it. Stim beacon sucks. I'm not arguing this. Next up, Viper Molly. Again, Viper's Molly was nerfed to hell. Is there any Mollies in A tier? I'll put it in A. I think it's better than KO Molly. It lasts longer than KO Molly, but you only get one. So it's kind of just a worse Nano Swarm. So definitely, it's a good Molly. It's A tier. Has a huge range. But it just, now that you only get one, you basically just go to your lineup if you have one and immediately run back to Spike. So it's not it's good, but I think the Mollies up here kind of outclass it currently. Viper Wall. I'm hesitant to put the wall higher than Harbor Wall because I don't really think it's all that. Yeah, I think B is fine. It's just the amount of nerfs that have happened to Viper made her so bad. Or so mid, I should say. She's not awful, but she's so mid. Like, unless you're a Viper main, there's so many ways to counter a Viper. So I don't think her wall is that great, you know? Obviously, if they push the site with it, you're good. But again, it also uses up Toxin, which means even if you save your fucking Viper Orb, you're like, okay, well, I can't put my wall up and my orb up because then it'll last 5 seconds and they'll fall. So it's just, they really wanted her to be out of the meta for a little bit, which is fair. It's reasonable. Viper ults, I'm going to put an A. I think Viper ult is actually really good. I still think Viper ult is really good. I don't think it's the best, obviously. But the range that it has and the like lockdown on a site it can do is very, very good. There's no, even with the nerf to make it where you can't leave it for very long, still very strong. Still definitely a very strong ult. And if you face a Viper who places it on post plant, most teams are fucking petrified. So, very good ult, very good ult. Next up, Razor Wire. It's good. It's fine. I'm very close to putting it in C. I'm gonna put it in C tier, actually. The damage it does is not enough of a threat, especially if you're getting pushed while you're in it. You're still gonna move. So, yeah, the damage is nice, but I mean, the only time I've ever seen kills with it is more by accident, more than calculated, if that makes sense. So, not the greatest utility in the game. Viswall, I think this may be very argumentative. I think Viswall is the best wall in the game currently out of the three. I think Viswall is very strong. If, like, you have to trick it. You have to trick it. You don't have a choice. Because if you run on with Viswall up, your team's not following you unless you have a Sage to wall over it. I mean, even then, I mean, like, you're basically walling yourself off for when the Viswall falls. So, like, you're basically giving them a permanent wall on sight. So Viswall is good. It's definitely the best wall of the three currently. I think Sage Wall and Deadlock Wall need to be tweaked a little bit if we want them to be viable. Deadlock Wall, I'm not sure how you would do that. I don't want to just increase the health. So I'm not going to go into that too much, but I don't want to increase the health. I think that'd be bad. So I think Viswall is the best in the game currently. But yeah, I think Viswall is good. It's definitely the best out of the three. Vise Flash. I think putting it in A is fair. The reason why is because I think even if even if they break it, you still get it back, like after like a certain amount of time. Am I crazy? I think you still get it back even if they break it. Yeah, you still get it back in a round. So if you if they push your site first, you place it, they break it after you flash, you still get it back for the retake if you lose the site. So still a very, very solid piece of util. It's a very good flash. It's free. And it's invisible until you use it. So, or unless you place it when they're looking at it, which sometimes happens, but a very good flash. Very good flash. Yeah, I mean, I can see B tier, but I think it's better than Sky Flash and stuff currently. Now that Sky Flash no longer tells you when people are, and it only has 2 and doesn't recharge. So I think it's still better than Sky Flash, personally, which I think is, and I think it's better than Phoenix Flash, too. So, keep it in A tier. Vi's ult is incredibly strong. I love Vi's ult. I'm tempted to put it in S tier. I'm putting it in S tier, fuck y'all. I think Vi's ult is super strong. I think Vi's ult is one of the few ults in the game that I would argue you should use. Not few. I think it's one of the ults in the game that you could use on any round. You could use it on an eco. You can use it on just a rifle v rifle. It's a very versatile ult that is very strong. Yeah, it takes a little long to go off, but it's like, okay, so you either lose your fucking gun for 10 seconds or like 8 seconds, whatever the time is, or you leave sight. So I think it's a very, very, very strong piece of util. The only person that really counters it is Chamber. So, but besides that, still think it's super strong. And Jet, I guess, technically. Super strong ult. Love it. Yoru TP. The last agent on the roster that Shox is gonna yell at me no matter what I fucking say. So. Yoru C. Yoru TP C. I think Yoru TP is the worst movement ability in the game. I don't think it's D or F, but I do think it's bad. It can be broken. It's very obvious. It's really only good for if you're trying to fake a sight. That is the only time I mean, yeah, if you're like a pro Yoru player and you know all these like flash lineups to where you can guarantee TP without them knowing, but even then, it's just like, it's not very good. It's not a very good, it's one of the worst, it's the worst movement ability in the game, in my opinion, by far. Yoru Flash. I'm gonna be fair. We'll put Yoru Flash in A tier. I don't think it's S tier. It lasts for a very long time, yes. The issue is there are very few people who are good at using this fucking flash, and you are going to flash your team probably 60% of the time. And unlike other flashes, yeah, it's better than Phoenix Flash. Unlike other flashes though, like Phoenix Flash, where if your Phoenix is gonna flash, I think you have a better reaction time to look away. If your Yoru flashes, you don't see that shit until it hits the wall. Even if you do see it, it's just, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna get flashed by it. It lasts forever. So I don't want to put it in S. I still think like Breach Flash is like the best in the game, but it lasts a long time. The flash that lasts even longer, but I think is like kind of terrible, is Decoy. Decoy's going in B. The reason why I say Decoy is going in B is because, yes, the flash lasts a long time. There's a reason why 80% of the time you still shoot the decoy no matter what. Because the flash is so easy to fucking dodge. Unless a teammate shoots it without you being ready, you're not gonna get flashed by the decoy. Now, if a teammate shoots it and you're not ready, that's just a communication issue. But it's just, you're gonna shoot it. You should be shooting a decoy almost every time. I'm serious. If you aren't shooting a decoy every time, then I think you're throwing a little bit. And lastly, finally, is Yoru ult. It's good. It's a good ult. I'll say it. It's a good ult. It's a decent ult. It has a lot of issues. It is hard to use, I agree. It has a lot of issues, like you can't, unless you don't have a gun equipped, you can't pick it up. You can't pick up another gun unless you don't have a gun equipped, which is really weird, I think. You can pick up Spike with it, so that makes it good. It's kind of like an Omen ult, but like better, I would argue for that. Because you can just throw your TP across the map. It's one use, pop ult, grab Spike and TP across the map. Whereas Omen ults, you have to be at the site to pop ult, which means you have to be on the opposite site. So I think Yoru ult is a bit better than Omen ult for that regard. And then obviously the Yoru ult with like a shotgun ult like works like 60% of the time. So it's good. I don't think it's S tier good, but I think it's good. All right, and there you have it. We have the Valorant agent ability tier list. Surprisingly, a lot of abilities, obviously in the top 3. And the reason why is because I think most abilities are fairly balanced and fairly good. I think this is probably one of the few things, like this is one of the few games that has done balancing right. And I'm looking at Overwatch. Barring a few utility exceptions down here, I think almost every ability in this game is solid. I think it has, like, if you disagree with, because Res is shit, it has almost no use. If you disagree, like, by, like, just one ranking, it's fine. If you think, like, anything in S should be B or lower, I think you're crazy. I'm sorry, I think you're crazy. I think you're just insane.